Hello. The greatest challenge currently facing broadcast media involves the preponderance of digital streaming services. These services, such as Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, and the soon-to-be-introduced Disney Plus, have not only changed the way in which Americans consume their broadcast media, but have dramatically shifted the mass media landscape. The percentage of pay television subscribers dropped over 20% from 2015 to 2018, while cord trimmers, those who cut back on pay TV in lieu of streaming subscriptions, cord cutters, those who canceled pay TV completely in favor of streaming, and cord nevers, those who have always relied strictly on streaming for their television, have all risen steadily in the same period. As of 2018, a full one-third of all homes that watch television do so without using a traditional pay TV service. The leader in streaming services, Netflix, has about 60 million subscribers, and that figure has risen steadily since 2011. A full 60% of households in the U.S. currently have a Netflix subscription. Conversely, the leading pay television provider, AT&T, has seen its flagship service, DirecTV, lose subscribers each quarter since the first quarter of 2017, equaling 2.33 million subscribers lost in the two-year period. What does this mean for mass media communication? Well, the clearest impact is in the streaming companies' relationships with established media conglomerates. Netflix and Amazon Prime are not owned by any of the big five American media producers: Disney, AT&T, Comcast NBC, CBS, and Viacom, which also control nearly all the major U.S. film studios, so the streaming services can now present a unique voice to the American public. Other streaming services such as Hulu, DirecTV Now, and Sling TV are owned by those media corporations. Netflix and Amazon have taken advantage. Netflix has produced over 200 original films since 2013, and Amazon over 30. Netflix films have won 6 Academy Awards since 2017, and 2018's Roma was nominated for Picture of the Year, meaning there are new players in the mass media landscape that was, and perhaps still is, dangerously close to being monopolized by a very few conglomerates. My personal challenge is to understand and articulate how the prevalence of independent mass media through digital streaming services has changed the mass media communication landscape, and how it will continue to do so. Historically, American mass media has never been in the hands of so few decision makers as it is today. Just this year, 21st Century Fox, the television and movie arm of Fox Corporation, was absorbed by Disney. Last year, Time Warner was similarly swallowed by AT&T. As of June 2019, there are persistent rumors of a CBS-Viacom merger, which would reduce the number of major media producers in the U.S. to just 4. The loosening in the mid-1990s of policies meant to avoid monopolies has given media corporations free rein to widen their reach, despite Federal Trade Commission warnings of such horizontal mergers between direct competitors that produce the same product. The results are a mass media communication landscape where a few producers create virtually all the mass communication consumed by the public. Unaffiliated digital streaming services, especially with their forays into producing their own media, in a departure from offering only recycled content from established studios, have begun to broaden the options of what mass media the United States consumes. The American mass media communication landscape can perhaps best be viewed through a concept taught in Communication 4050, Communication and Society. That concept is the critical mass media theory, which states, in part, that social reality is a human construction organized by structure and agency, which are always in a relationship of power. Mass media largely provides, or at least communicates, the structure which the consumers, or agents, must react to. That structure has become the norm, and it is difficult to even imagine a piece of mass media going against the established structure. For example, during the course, the class was asked to recall any U.S. film that had a message discussing any optional form of that great American structure, capitalism. Of course, no one in the class could come up with an example, because to the best of anyone in the room at the time's knowledge, no film produced by a major motion picture studio would dare try to examine that political economic ideology. To do so would seem un-American. The example provided a very clear example of mass media perpetuating the foundational structure of capitalism by completely ignoring any alternative. In this way, the big five media conglomerates can push whatever structural narrative they like, with very few other voices to disagree. This is also why the streaming service's growing foothold on U.S. mass media communication is important. Netflix and Amazon have the ability to branch out and produce their content in ways that ever so slightly chip away at some well-established societal norms. For example, Netflix's 2017 film Okja has been seen by many as having an anti-capitalist theme. It is difficult to imagine the same being said for any U.S. film produced by a major studio. This case is a good example of how new and different mass media voices are good for broadening the societal structure. In simpler terms, it's good to know that there are options. Com 4050 further explained that communication and society are mutually constituted, that social forces are vital to the formation of channels of communication. By having a virtual oligarchy of corporations responsible for such a huge percentage of media consumed, social forces were no longer able to shape communication. It was left to the few. The streaming services are presenting a viable challenge to the status quo in this regard. I admit I probably would not have been able to grasp these concepts, even in the abstract, without the benefit of completing COM 4045, Applied Critical Thinking in Communication. One crucial lesson I learned in this course was to practice fair-minded thinking, such as engaging in logical, informed questioning and being ready to question my own assumptions. This type of thinking works for the betterment of the community and society rather than just for the proponent. The application of this concept has helped me consider the role mass communication plays in society, for good or ill, and whether that role can or should be improved. By practicing fair-minded thinking, I am able to understand that new, fresh mass media presented by streaming services will almost certainly benefit society. I won't necessarily agree with all the themes presented, but I understand that the social structure benefits from fresh ideas and concepts, such as the film Okjas. As I contemplate where my own role in communication may one day lie, I must also consider another important competency I gained from this program. In COM 4006, Building High-Performing Teams, I was placed randomly on a team of 4 with no direction as to our roles within the team. As we settled into our informal roles, I gladly allowed another team member to take the leadership role, and I was content to create content and advise, which is the normal team role I gravitate toward. This time, though, the course demanded I look inwardly and ask myself why I chose that role. I found that I had been dishonest with myself. I told myself that, while I obviously should be leading the team, I would allow someone else to take the role, only because they really seemed to want to. In reality, once I evaluated my position critically, I realized that I virtually always tell myself that same lie. In truth, I don't want the leadership role. More is at stake when you're the leader. I'm more afraid of being responsible for failure than I am eager to lead a team to greatness. Since I now have a clearer understanding of my own psyche, I can apply this to my challenge. In whatever professional capacity I wind up in the communications field, I know that I am the most comfortable on the creative side rather than the leadership side. In this role, I could perhaps write about the value of alternative mass media producers rather than work directly for them in a leadership capacity. Communication and society may have taught me that communication is a critical piece of the fabric of society. Applied critical thinking may have taught me to open my own mind to the possibilities I hadn't yet considered, but building high-performing teams taught me the importance of accepting my own strengths and being honest with myself about my own preferences. Finally, COM 4301, Branding and Market Position, gave me further insight and experience into becoming a communication professional. This course focused on personal brands and how crucial they are in marketing yourself. One piece of creating a personal brand was creating a personal mission statement. I had never done anything like that, but I was quite pleased with the resulting statement, and I still am today. It states, in part, that I will strive to make the world a better place by leading an ethical, balanced life. I had no idea then that I would turn my attention to streaming services' impact on traditional mass media, but I think my statement fits nicely with the challenge I've chosen. I do believe more options for mass media consumption, especially options not tethered to the existing system, will generate more ideas and eventually improve society. I hope to be involved with this in some capacity, and my personal mission statement fits my ideals, which hopefully means I'm on the right path toward making the world a little better place. Thank you.